Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and now before we start this video, I just want to say that I actually don't have all the champions in the game yet, but the reason I wanted to do it now is because I really wanted to do a tier list now before I had all the champions to see where I would put them, and then when I eventually get all of them, I would like to see where I would change things, or if I would change where they are, and I just thought it would be a really fun video because I'm not the best at the game yet, and gameplay videos, it's kind of, I don't know, I don't win that often. But anyway, let's just start off right now. So, Bangalore. Alright, so Bangalore's tactical is smoke, which you could use to res teammates in, or you could use in a situation to get out of quickly. It's a very useful thing where you could just heal in a fight, or just get out, and it's pretty good. Now her passive allows her to run, I don't know how much faster, but maybe like 20% faster when she gets shot at, which is pretty good, really nice to get cover and everything. Now her ult is really good if you're pushing someone, because it stuns them. It doesn't do much damage, but you could stun them, and you could push in, but the stun doesn't last for too long. So for that, I'm probably going to be placing Bangalore probably in the C tier, just because she's not the best, and also Bangalore's basically like maybe a worse Gibraltar. Now, anyway, let's go on to Bloodhound. So his tactical, he could scan enemies from far away, which is really useful if you want to know where people are, or if you want to see where they are in the middle of the fight, if they're healing or anything. Now this is good, but that's not the best, just because in this game sound is a lot of things. You could use sound to track where the enemy is, see if they're on the other side of the wall, so it's more of just basically knowing exactly where the enemy is. But if you're anyone else, you could really find out just where they are, if you know what I mean. Okay, now his passive is where basically he could see if an enemy was where he is now. He could see up to 90 seconds, I think it is, where he could see if they've been there, if they've looted things, everything, which is pretty nice to know, just in case. It helps your teammates, or helps your team be more on the lookout for enemies. Now his ult is pretty good. It basically makes it where he could run 40% faster, lasts for 35 seconds, which is a long time, and he gets to see, it's basically a big digital threat on his face. He could see the enemies in red, but the thing I don't like about it is, personally, it's hard to aim when it's on, just because everything's black and white and gray and everything, except for the enemies, and it kind of confuses me with the land and terrain, and it just, I don't know. It's just, I don't like it the best. But I think he's better than Bangalore. I'm going to put him in B tier. Now, Caustic. Caustic is really good. Not really for open areas. So his tactical, you could place it down, you could block doors with it, which is really good if you're getting pushed or anything. But now you could use it if you're in rooms, or you could use it if you want to res. You could just shoot at it. It's basically like Bangalore smoke. You could use it as that, but it also hurts them and slows them down, which is very useful, and it's really good. But the only bad thing is it's not good in the open, because people or enemies could easily run around it. His passive is where he could see enemies when they're in his gas. He could see the enemies inside the gas, which is basically like a digital threat. It's basically like Bloodhound. So if they're in it, he could see exactly where they are, and it's really good. And also, I'm pretty sure he's also has the like passive as Gibraltar, where he takes 15% less incoming damage, which is really good. So I'm gonna have to put him in A. Now Crypto, he's really good, but he is mainly a recon. All of his abilities mainly are just recons now. His tactical, he throws out a drone, and he could see the enemy constantly. It's like a constant scan, which is really good, but you have to be in the drone to move around and everything. but you could also put it in the sky, and you could just hover it above, but and you could be in the fight still and shoot and everything, but enemies could easily just shoot it because it's very loud and it's very easy to see. Now his ult is really good because you could just basically you move it on the drone and you could stun every enemy in a big radius, but you can stun you and your teammates in it, which is not good because if you're gonna push, you gotta make sure you're not in it. So yeah, but it is really good if you're gonna do a push and you wanna stun them, maybe do a little damage and make sure they don't get to cover. Now Crypto's passive, basically it's just when you're in your drone, everyone on your team could basically see where the enemies are, where they're marked, which is basically a normal drone. So his passive doesn't really, I don't really think it affects much. I mean, it does, but basically his passive is what a drone normally does. So I'm going to put him in B tier, because actually I'm going to put him below Bloodhound, just because I think Bloodhound's recon scan is a little better, just because you can't stop it. It's 100% scan. With Crypto's, you could easily shoot it, and it can't see through walls. So that's why I'm going to put him a little better. Now Fuse is not that good. He basically, his passive allows him to throw grenades farther and hold more grenades, which isn't that good compared to all the other champions' passives. Now, his tactical is where you could shoot a cluster bomb at you, and it basically just blows up everywhere. But it's not that good. It doesn't do much damage at all. It does like half your shield. I mean, that's maybe like a purple shield or something. It does like 40 damage. Compared to normal grenades, it kind of sucks. So it's not that good. Now his ult is actually really good because you could trap enemies in it, or you could hit them with it. But you got to be very careful because you could put it, or you could accidentally put it where it's half on a house, half on the ground, so an enemy could easily just walk out without getting hit. And you also got to be careful because it could easily be countered by Pathfinder, Octane's ult, Wraith, pretty easily countered. And I'm not actually sure if Watson's ult can break it if you shoot it. I'm not too sure. But for that, I'm going to have to put him in D tier because he's just not that good. And I don't think I'm going to be using E or F tier just because I don't think every champion in the game is that bad. I think every champion, or not every champion, but most of the champions are balanced and most of the champions are equal now, and that's mainly because of the developers made all the tried to make all the champions equal to each other, just so because they want all their champions to be used and not one to be used way above, even though that happens already with Wraith. Obviously she's like #1 used. Anyway, Gibraltar. Now Gibraltar is amazing because with his passive, when you aim down sights, you get a little shield that I think blocks 50 damage, but it helps a lot. And he also takes 15% less damage, which is amazing if you're on a one-on-one with like the same guns almost, and you will win if you have good aim, like 99% of the time. It's amazing. Now his tactical is so good. You could throw it in the middle of the open, you could res teammates, you could heal. Amazing. The only thing is that you gotta be careful not to throw it near enemies because they could easily just run right through and shoot you, and use it to their advantage because they could just dodge in and out of the shield, and they could dodge all your shots by your shots hitting your dome as well, because you can't, or your team can't shoot through your own dome. Now his ult is really good. It's like Bangalore's almost. I think it does the same damage, but I don't think it stuns them. It might actually. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might. But it comes down way faster. It's way harder to dodge. And it's just way better. I'm going to have to put him in S tier because he is amazing. Now, Horizon. She is really good as well. She was broken. So broken in Season 7. I think she definitely got nerfed or something. So they did something to change it. To change her. Anyway, her tactical basically allows her to jump, or yeah, you throw down like a gravity thing that shoots up in the air, and you could fly really high in the sky. And once you get to the top, you have 100% accuracy. You could heal up there, you could shoot up there, you could get really good advantage points, high ground, really useful. And now her passive is good as well. You don't take any fall stun, which is really good from coming down from there and landing and just anything. And her ult is also really good. Her ult is amazing, especially when you have a caustic on your team. Because if you use her ult, you suck everyone in, and then you could use caustic's ult on it to poison everyone. You could also maybe add in Gibraltar's ult to bring down those meteors or whatever on them, which will do really good damage, and you will kill the whole squad. And you could get like a fuse, have him throw a million grenades in there. Amazing, really good. So I'm gonna have to put her in S tier. Not better than Gibraltar, just because I don't think Horizon is better than Gibraltar. Just because Gibraltar, every ability on him is super OP. Unlike Horizon, her tactical is really good, but I think Gibraltar's tactical is a little better. Now Lifeline. Lifeline is really good as well because her passive allows you to heal without, or to res without being on the person that's down, on your teammate that's down, and it puts up a shield, which is really useful in the middle of fights. You could just res, and it's really annoying, especially in ranked, when you down someone and she reses them, and then you get downs, and then you don't get the kill. Really annoying, but it's really good. And now her tactical is where she could put a health drone down and heal you, but it's very slow. It's almost like Octane's passive. It pretty much is. And I think it's like a 45-second cooldown for you to get it again, which isn't that good. Now her ult, it is a supply drop, but you don't get any of the heirloom weapons or anything like that. You don't get any of those overpowered ones. So it is pretty good, but usually by the time, it takes so long to get it, so usually by the time you do get it, if you survive that long, you will have most of the stuff already, or it will just be something useless, like maybe a skull piercer when you don't have a wingman or a longbow. Now, I'm gonna put her in A. I don't know if I think she is a little bit better than Caustic, just because of her passive, how you could res in the middle of fights. You could bring up teammates to help you in the middle of fights, which is really useful. Now Loba. A lot of people hate on Loba, but I actually think she's pretty good. Now, her tactical allows her to throw her bracelet and teleport wherever she wants. It could go really far, which is really useful. Now her ult, it allows her to put her staff down, which I think she got from her dad in the lore. I'm not too sure, but she could put it down and you could grab loot from a big radius, and you could grab it from enemies' boxes, and it's just really good. It's really useful after you kill like 2 squads or 3 squads, after you third party or something, and you just don't have the time because the storm's coming. You throw it down and you grab whatever you want, and you could grab unlimited ammo. You grab all the ammo you want and grab 2 items. Now her passive is where you could see epic and legendary weapons, or epic and above rarity weapon or items through through loot boxes even before they're opened, which is pretty good. So right at the start when you land, you can know which ones to go for. You could see, which is pretty good, but you're not going to be able to see weapons or anything. You're just going to see armor, maybe like add-ons to your weapons. Not the best. So I'm gonna have to put her in C. Now Mirage, he's actually not that bad. A lot of people again hate on Mirage. There's these certain champions that a lot of people hate on, but Mirage is actually not that bad, just because well, not just because, but let's talk about his passive. So basically, when he gets downed, for 5 seconds, it puts a decoy of him getting knocked over or whatever, but the real him gets cloaked for 5 seconds, which is really good if your team is a little behind a push. It'll distract the enemies and you won't get finished right away. And now his tactical, basically you could send the decoy anywhere, and you can control it, and it's really good for throwing one around the corner when you know enemies are there, seeing where they are, or guessing where they are. And it's just really good for that situation where you don't want to run in yet, or if you want to run in a room, or distract anyone, or just make it seem like you're there, so they'll pop out, and it's just your clone, and then your whole team could shoot at them. It's really good. And his ult is also really good because if you get really low, you could use it and it spits out like 10 decoys of himself, and you control all of them, and you could just heal, or you could run away, and the enemy will have no clue which one is the real you. Which is so basically, he basically just is more of a person that will send out decoys, and well, obviously, but he's almost like some sort of recon because his it depends how the way you use it. But anyway, I am probably gonna put him in C. I'm probably gonna put him right here. I think that might be a fine place for him. Anyway, Octane. So Octane's passive is really good. Basically, it allows him to heal his health whenever he's not in a fight, which is really useful. It's basically, again, it's almost the exact speed as Lifeline's healing drone. Now, his tactical, where he could use his stim and he could run much faster, but it hurts him just a tiny bit, but it only recharges in 2 seconds, and by the time you're done using your first stim and it recharges, you almost got your health back that you just took away from it. Now his ult is, it could be countered by, it could be countered against, or not, it could be countered. He could use his ult to counter Fuse's ult, maybe Horizon's ult, maybe like everyone's ult almost. He could just run away very easily, his whole team. I imagine Octane kind of like a little bit worse Wraith, just because both of their tacticals could be used to run away, except Wraith can't get hit. And both their ults could be used to run away or push, except Wraiths can't get hit. So that's how I imagine them. So for him, I'm probably gonna put him in D tier. I think he's not that good. Really, the only good thing about him is his passive, which isn't really even the best compared to some other passives, but he is better than Fuse, I think. Just because, now that I think about it, I don't know. I think Fuse is a little better just because Octane has nothing to deal extra damage, nothing to help him out in a fight. Just run away or, move around fast. But Fuse, he could actually use his ult to trap them and everything. So, yeah. Pathfinder. A Pathfinder is really good as well for some situations like that. Now, his passive sucks now. Before, he was the only recon that could scan where the next circle is, but now that every recon can scan, aka just these three, can scan where the next circle is, which means his passive basically sucks, just because these guys have another passive besides that. So he needs a new passive, or another passive to add on to that, which is really, he just needs that. All right. And now his tactical is used to get out of a fight if you're really low really quickly, which is really nice. He's basically also like another Wraith / Octane. Those three are like, you could use all their abilities for the same. But anyway, yeah, you could use it to get high ground, you could use it to run away, you could use it to push, anyway, like that. Now his ult is really good, again, like Wraiths. You could use it to go and push enemies, you could go high ground, you could go anywhere you want, which is really good about his, unlike Wraiths and maybe Octanes, because if you want to go really high, you could use his ult, get the high ground. Now with Wraith, you are the runner, you run it, you don't just pick where to put it, so you can't go all the way up there unless there's a grapple or something. So he's really good for that, but I don't think he is amazing, and I know a lot of people would say he's A or S, but I am going to put him in B. I'm going to put him right there, just because I just think that there are better champions than his abilities. Now, Rampart. Now, a lot of people actually really hate Rampart, but she's actually really good if you get the right situation. Now, a lot of people just hate on her because everyone hates on her. But she is kind of bad just like if you don't get the right situation. It's because she's very situational. But when you get the right situation, like if someone's in a house and there's only one door out, maybe the storm's on their back or something, you could set up walls and a turret, and it's just really good. Now, her walls are actually really good no matter the situation. You could just place it down if someone's shooting at you, and you do, I think it's something like around double the damage when you shoot through it. I'm not actually sure, but it is really good. And you could also put her ult down just to shoot at them as well. Now that I think about it a lot more, she's actually not that situational. All you have to do is go, like, face the enemy, set up a turret, and then you could shoot at them. So, for that, I think I am going to put her probably up at the C tier just because she's actually not as bad and not as situational as everyone thinks she is. And I forgot to say her passive. Basically her passive allows her to hold extra ammo in her magazines and do, I think, a little extra damage with light machine guns. I think that's what it is. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. Now Wattson, she is actually pretty good as well. And a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people hate on her, but a lot of people don't think she's that good, and she's just not used a lot, even though she's actually pretty good. Now, let's talk about her tactical. So basically, her tactical, she could set up electric fences. It's basically like caustics almost. You could block doorways. You could make sure enemies don't come in. But it's just like caustics. It could be very easy to destroy those. So you gotta make sure you put them in the right spots and everything like that. Now, her ult is really useful if there's a fuse on the enemy team or anything like that. You just plop it down, and it destroys all the grenades and everything. It destroys even Horizon ults. I think it destroys like all the ults that you throw. I'm not too sure. But anyway, it's really good, especially with Rampart. When she sets up all her shields and her turret, you just place that behind her. It also regenerates her shield very slowly, but it regenerates her shield, which is really good. Now, I'm going to put her, I think, low B tier. And I forgot about her passive. Alright, now Wattson's passive isn't that good, but it is actually not that bad. But anyway, her passive is basically where she could hold more ultimate accelerators, and I think the ultimate accelerators go quicker on her, which is actually really good for getting your ult quicker and everything to set up that Rampart area turret thing, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, now Wraith. Now, in my opinion, I think Wraith is probably the best legend in the game, just because she's so good. I mean, I'll explain. But her passive allows her to know when she's getting aimed at, which is really good. So you could warn your teammates. You could get cover real easy. A lot of the times, it just, it tells you the obvious things, like if you're getting shot at, or, it tells you they're aiming at you, you're getting shot at, obvious times. But when it does tell you you're being aimed at before they shoot, it is really, really useful to get in better position and everything, get ready for the fight. Now, her tactical is really useful, like I said earlier, to get out of situations really quick, and you could get into situations quick, get whatever you want. If you're 1 HP, you could use it, not get hit, and get pretty far, and it's really good. Now, her ult is, I think, is the only character in the game that you could combine her tactical and her ult, like, with each other, because when you use her ult, you could use her tactical instantly instead of that charge up, and you won't get hit while placing your portal. And then, once you place it into a good spot, you could get your whole team out of a really bad situation, heal, go right back into it, which is really good. One thing that Octane can't do. Now, I think she's easily the best champion in the game. but a lot of you might have different opinions. Now, Revenant, I just got Revenant, I think 2 days ago. Now, he's actually pretty good. He used to suck. He used to be like the worst character in the game, but they buffed him a lot. Now, his passive is basically where you could crouch walk much faster than he could walk, and much faster than any champion can crouch walk or walk. Which isn't that shut up, easy. Now, it isn't that useful, but it is really good if you wanna, if you wanna move around quickly without getting hurt by the enemy, which is nice. Now, his other passive is where he could climb up walls much higher than other people. Now, there are some walls in the game that I have reached, and they just are too high, and I need to climb to get better positioning and everything. So it could, you don't really use it a lot, but it could be useful sometimes. Now, his tactical is really good because if you get like a Wraith pretty low, you could use it. You could use it, and you could make sure she doesn't phase gate out of the place without taking any damage. So when you use it, you silence them for 15 seconds, which is a long time, really good. And they can't use any abilities. They won't be able to phase gate. They won't be able to stim if they're Octane. They won't be able to put their decoys out if they're Mirage, which is really good for finishing them and killing them. Now, his ult is actually really good as well. You put on Death Protection. You place it down, your whole team could grab it, but you gotta be careful where you place it because enemies can get the Death Protection as well. So you want to do it ahead of time because it lasts a long time. It lasts like 30 seconds maybe. So you can put it a little behind the fight or where you want to push. Now, when you put it on, you take no damage. Well, you do, but if they kill you, if they fully kill you and everything, you don't have any shield in that, but when they fully kill you, you get teleported all the way back to the Death Protection where that Revenant placed it, and you have half health, which you could easily heal up with like 2 syringes, 3 syringes, or a med kit, depending on what you want, or whatever, a lifeline, if you're Octane, it depends what you want, but it's really good. But the only thing you got to be careful about, just like a Wraith portal, if you get teleported back, you can't stop it. I mean, like a Wraith portal, you could just go back through, but with this, you get teleported right back, and you can't go back through. You have to fight, or you have to run, or you have to do something. So, I'm going to put him, I think I'm going to put him B. I think I'm going to put him, I think I'm going to put him C. I don't think he's that good enough where he will go above C. Now, here is my full list of the champions ranked in order, in my opinion. I should have said that earlier. This is in my opinion, so don't go in the comics, or don't go in the comments. Wraith shouldn't be that high up. She should be in B tier at highest. I don't care. Okay, it's my opinion. You could do it all you want. Just look up Apex Legends Season 8 tier list maker. I don't know, whatever you want. Now, anyway, if you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.